All right, guys. So I have been really busy and I haven't been able to do all these 31 days for I think 5 days in a row. So I'm going to do a bunched video where I'm going to talk about days 21 through 25, or 22 through 25. I already did day 21. So since, like I said, I'm back, I'm on, I don't have time for all this recently. I'm just going to talk about five movies at once in this review for 5 days. So starting with day 22, I watched A Bay of Blood, and A Bay of Blood is a Mario Bava film, the one of the first true slashers, like bloody slashers, and I don't know if it's the first. Like I know that you can count like Psycho or Peeping Tom, but those aren't really violent slashers, and they're not really fully slashers. They're more thrillers. And this, I from what I've heard, is one of the first slashers, like really brutally gory slashers. And I was so excited to see this because I heard so many people talk about how this is really good. And Mario Bava, I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but I have seen Blood and Black Lace, which I liked, and I was excited to see this one. And watching this one, it's weird because the gore, it's a gory movie, but it's not a movie that, like the artwork implies, is like all the time just brutal gore. Um, Excuse me while I try to burp. But I it's weird because this movie, it is really, it is gory, but it's not gory like extreme all the time. And I kind of expected that. And it's really not that. It's a mystery about who the killer is, Giallo, which I'm already liking it regardless. Like I already do really enjoy Giallos. The ones I've seen I really like. Even if there's one that vary in like entertainment or quality, I still really enjoy Giallos. I think there's something about Giallo movies that are different than slashers, and I don't know how they do it, but they do it where they're always interesting, regardless of they're gonna have the same outcome. But I like the idea how they show who the killer is, or how they make the mystery of who the killer is in Giallos more than regular slashers. And like I said, the gore in this is good. It is really good and really effective, but it's really not that much in the movie. Funny enough, I expected more of that, especially with the poster. But I'll say this without spoiling it. The last like couple seconds of the movie really stick with you because it's a oh shit moment, and then it just ends on a weird sad note, and I really like that a lot. But the movie overall I thought was fun. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was entertaining. Like usually I feel like in these giallos, I thought it was entertaining overall. But pretty much all I could say about Bay of Blood for day 22. And then day 23, I watched Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I bought the Arrow release, and I've been wanting to see this one for a while. Elvira is not something I really have watched much. I know who she is. I know it's the girl with the big boobs, gothic girl with big boobs, is what I always thought whenever I was younger. Like this is, I remember what she looks like most people do, and I never really saw the Elvira shows that she had, like Movie Macabre. Like I never really watched any of those, and I want to sometime because I feel like I do enjoy horror enough that I should watch them. It's where she reviews B movies on that Movie Macabre, but but the movie itself, it's her feature film movie where Elvira moves to this town and she's going to get an inheritance. And then the townsfolk go crazy and they don't like her and they try to burn her at the stakes. Um, and the thing I liked about this movie was, since I didn't know much about Elvira, I really thought Cassandra Peterson, like, she really is awesome in this movie and really fun, really, really iconic. Like this person, even though I haven't seen the show that she did, like I know what she looks like. I know her personality already from just this movie, and it really shows how iconic she is. Like I said, this is coming from somebody that hasn't watched the show, but I think that she did awesome in this movie. I think there are points where the movie doesn't feel like a movie though. Like it feels just like a lot of skits, like where she's just in town and random shtick happens where she'll say a overt sexual joke and then they'll be like, no, that's not what I mean. Whenever they say that, which I think was funny, but as it went on, it kind of got a little tiring because I feel like if you're watching probably something like, I'm assuming her movie Macabre was, where it's interstitials, where like she interrupts the movie and talks, and then the movie goes on. It's probably like that if you did a Joe Bob Briggs movie. it probably is similar to that aspect where like you're making a movie about a character who really just says the same thing a lot, the same kind of joke. So I can understand it being tiring as it goes along. And I felt like that a little bit towards the end of the movie, but she is such a great really great fun person in this movie that it didn't really bother me. It's just like, oh, it's just kind of more of the same. But her spunk and personality really made it work. And the movie just really oozed fun. Like, it was such a fun movie, and I did enjoy it overall. I didn't love it, but I liked it and I enjoyed it. I thought the poster was freaking awesome. I've got that as my phone background right now. Just her getting burned at the stakes by that townswoman. That's really funny. And it's just a really cool piece of artwork. Like, horror posters in the 80s are really awesome. And that one's no exception. But Elvira I thought was a fun time and I enjoyed it. And then day 24, I watched Shivers, David Cronenberg Shivers, and I bought the Vestron release, and I really didn't know what to expect of this movie. Like, I heard what it was about. I heard it was about like people who get infested by slugs and um, have an uncraveable like sex craze where like they're just trying to have sex with everybody. Um, but watching the movie, it really didn't do that much. It's weird because this movie it's definitely from 1975 with how slow it is, and I do usually like slow burns, but this one, for some reason, I never felt that interested throughout. Like, I never really loved this movie. Like, I thought it was fine. Like, I did like it. I did like some of the creepiness of it. I did like how some of it was effective. Like, as it went towards the end was good. Um, the first couple acts were good, but they just really kind of dragged for me. Like, there were moments of creepiness, but comparing it to like a David Cronenberg movies that I've seen him do, or like that I've seen of David Cronenberg, like this is definitely not as good as something like The Fly, um, or even A History of Violence. Like, it's not like that kind of level. And I haven't seen Scanners yet, and I want to see Scanners, but it's definitely not as great as Cronenberg's other movies. But I think it's fun and solid on its own in its own right. It's got a few creepy moments, but overall, I just thought it was kind of boring, just kind of uninteresting, honestly, throughout. Like, there were some moments of entertainment and creepiness to it, but really, besides that, there wasn't much. So it was okay. I'm glad I saw it though to watch Cronenberg's filmography. And then day 25, I watched Demons, which I had seen a while ago, and I just forgot to review it. So I watched this movie a while ago. I didn't watch it recently. I really remember just from this movie, it was about being in a movie theater, which I thought was a cool idea. And I know they've done horror movies like that, like Popcorn, where it was in a movie theater as well. And I might like Popcorn more than this one, but this idea is in a movie theater, where there's these masks that turn people into demons. And as the movie goes along, it kind of just, the theater gets destroyed. And just, I like how fun that is. But honestly, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say that, like, this one was just not that interesting. Like, I thought as it went along, it really didn't do much for me to remember it. There were some fun effects. Like, there were some fun effects to it. But honestly, and I know I saw it a while back, but that might be why I'm not remembering it, but also I'm probably not remembering because I just felt like it wasn't super memorable. Like, it was fun. It had some fun moments, but it just really didn't do much for me. And I bought the Blu-ray for it, and I think I'll watch it again, but I just, for the first watch, didn't find much to like about Demons. Like, it's solid. It's like, I think on Letterboxd I give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. Like, I'm not saying it's like a bad movie or an unentertaining movie. It's just not like super entertaining. It's just in the middle of the road, like kind of forgettable, honestly. But maybe if I watch it again, I might feel a little different. But I enjoyed it all right for the most part. Um, but that's pretty much all I can say about Demons. Really short review. And then today, day 26, I watched Hack-O-Lantern, which is because I watched Joe Bob's Halloween Hideaway, and he did Haunt, which I have seen before. I liked Haunt again on rewatch a little more than I did the first time. Gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd, and then on this movie, Hack-O-Lantern, I gave 2 stars out of 5 because this one is weird. And Joe Bob, of course, he's good at telling all the details about the backstories of these movies. And this movie in particular, he said it's like Indian producers that wanted to make a movie banking on John Carpenter's Halloween 10 years later, and then they thought they could make, and they made a really low budget, like they made it like $350,000, I think is what he said. So it's a really low budget horror movie, but it's weird as hell. Like it doesn't. It's weird. Like there's some moments of entertainment for this in this movie for me. Like this movie is a Satanist group, like slasher movie. Like it's a cool idea. I like that. I like the idea that there's this kid who's born into this family where like the grandpa is like a leader of this Satanist group, and that kid has to grow up to become part of this group and kill. And I thought that was cool. But the movie is weird because it's a movie made from Indian producers that didn't see other horror movies, didn't even watch Halloween apparently, according to Joe Bob. Didn't even watch that movie, so they're making a horror movie without seeing a horror movie. And it's got a lot of gratuitous like bands playing. Like there's random scenes throughout this movie of different bands playing. That is very weird and strange. I'm just like, what? It doesn't really add much to the movie except for the padding the runtime. But there's some moments of gore in the movie where they're good, but it's the kind of gore where you see something attack somebody, but then you see just the aftermath of them having like a thing in their head, like having a pitchfork in their head, like that. It's not really a movie with gore where you see it much. It's just the aftermath, which is kind of lame. But it was a low budget. But to be fair, there's horror movies that can do great gore effects with low budget. But this was not. The gore effects weren't that great in this either. The acting is really over the top. I like the grandpa character. He was really just ridiculous in how crazy he was in the acting department. But the movie is just so weird. Like it's such a strange mix, and doing random stuff that from people who haven't even seen horror movies. Like I don't understand how they thought that this would work. Like I know this one is maybe one that people like a lot, and this is my first watch, so maybe if I watch it again, I might enjoy it more. But I really thought this one was lame. Like I didn't really find this one that entertaining, unfortunately. Like I really found it pretty lame and uninteresting. Like it's a cool idea, but it's just pretty boring. It reminds me of another movie I watched like a couple months ago called Blood Harvest with Tiny Tim, where like it's a really low budget 80s horror movie that nobody knows about, and then it's just really lame. And this felt like that, like a very lame kind of movie like that. So pretty much all I could say about this one. Hack-O-Lantern, the title's awesome. I just expected more from it. Like I expected it to be more entertaining, but it really wasn't. Besides a few key aspects like the grandpa character. But it's whatever slasher. Like it's not anything great. Really not good at all. Like I said, I gave it 2 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So pretty much all I could say about Hack-O-Lantern, and that's all I'm going to talk about on this video for the days 22 to 25, 22 through 25 for 31 days. Because like I said, I've been busy. We're just in a really shitty time in the world right now, so I'm just kind of sad. Like it's just a bad time in the world, and I just haven't reviewed for a couple days, so I decided to bunch them all together. But I'm going to try tomorrow to review day 26 of my 31 days. And if I don't review them all in each day, then I'll do another bunched video. But see if you guys like this more than just a single review for each movie, because this at least was 5 movies in one. So that's it on my 5 days for 31 days, days 22 through 26. So I'll meet you guys again for the next days. So see you guys later.